So this is my monologue on more Trump bad personnel decisions. What I'm going to cover in this this monologue, I do too many interviews, is first I'm going to crow a little bit about how right I was about Scaramucci 10 days ago. I'm going to say what is Trump's administration policy lacking? In other words, where is he lacking? What kind of people is he bringing in? I'm going to explain why I care. I'm going to point out the good Trump policies that he's executed so far. And I'm going to explain why Kelly is no good. So let's start with Scaramucci. 10 days ago, I said that it was a bad decision to bring in Scaramucci and kick Sean Spicer out. Well, I didn't think it was going to be only 10 days before they fired him, but he was obviously totally incompetent and a total disaster. More importantly, I said it was going to be bad for the administration, but also bad for Scaramucci. Boy, is he damaged. Poor guy was grinded out like a meat grinder in the political environment. He said that he did an interview with Riisa, however you pronounce his name. And then the guy double-crossed him and said exactly what he said in the interview, even though he didn't say he should be off the record. This is what I was talking about. He's a political neophyte. Only a neophyte would not know that Riisa, who I tried to interview and he wouldn't, is a person that is totally dedicated to destroying Trump. Wherever he appears, CNN or MSNBC, he always is pitching dirt against Trump and trying to tear down the administration. He didn't know that? Well, that's a political neophyte. That's what I mean. People that really have not lived and breathed politics, so they're really ignorant about the issues and who the personalities are and who the adversaries are and what their strategies are. Anyway, I didn't think he was going to get kicked out and create a mess in only 10 days, but that's what happened. Anyway, the other thing that I want to explain here in this monologue is Trump's administration lacking. Now, I said before in my previous monologue that Trump doesn't have anybody in there that understands proper political principles. So, what does that mean? That means that they can't explain it to people and they can't be consistent. Fortunately, Trump has common sense and he's discarded a lot of policies that were held by the Republicans, and he gave it some fresh thought and realized that they were nonsense. But that's not enough. He had some people in there that, even if they didn't have the principles, they understood the issues, they could debate the issues, like Sean Spicer or Reince Priebus. And more importantly, these political people have an idea on how to enact the policies that Trump wants to get enacted. Instead, he brought in Scaramucci, and that didn't work out very well. And now he's brought in Kelly, which I'll talk about later. So Trump's lacking, which is that he is a political neophyte, is being, instead of subsided or filled out or improved by bringing in people that know what he doesn't know, he's bringing in more people that are just like him, political neophytes. And my prediction is they're not going to do a good job. You want to get something enacted, you have to have people in there that understand how the Congress works, the levers that have to be pulled. For example, Newt Gingrich, who he promised a job in the administration. And he welched on his promise. He didn't do what he said he was going to do. So, instead of bringing in people like Newt Gingrich that understand and can give him good, sound advice on how to get his policies enacted, he's just bringing in more neophytes. Kushner and his daughter, they're neophytes. And now they're going to have the inside ear and access to the president, because that's not going to be denied by Kelly. And the political people, they're totally on the outside if there are any left. So I don't see a good chance of success. And I do wish Trump success, because he has a lot of good policies that I would like to see implemented. For example, I'd like to see Obamacare repealed. A skinny repeal was better than nothing, but what I'd really like, of course, is a total repeal. And if that's not possible, well, some repeal that improved Obamacare and got rid of those taxes and gave more choice to people, and introduced some free market policies in the healthcare industry, which are totally lacking, and is why the costs are so high. Several senators and congressmen have tried to introduce these things, but they've been mostly unsuccessful, but to some degree they have been successful, so it's better than nothing. Anyway, you need political people that know how to pass the bills, get them enacted. I'm also in favor of his tax reform, which is 15% for personal people, for a personal income tax, and 15% corporate tax, and repatriation. And those three things would really give a boost to the economy and increase the money that is kept by the citizens and reduce the money that is given to the government, and therefore wiser decisions will be made with that money. It will be invested, and it will create more prosperity than if you don't do it, like Hillary was planning to do. So, and you know, I want to give Trump some credit, because he has enacted some good public policy decisions. So, for example, he dumped the Paris Accord. That was a good idea. And he also eliminated the subsidies for transgenders. He has gone after the criminal aliens. Absolutely, get rid of all those criminals. He's done a lot of things that were good. You know, he's done a lot of deregulation in the banking system, and let's see what else I got here on my list. Oh yeah, terminating the secret CIA program in Syria. That was a good move. He named Judge Gorsuch. That was good. So, just based on common sense, without understanding political principles, he's been able to do a lot of good things. And now for the final and more relevant analysis, what's wrong with Kelly? Why is he no good? Now, I don't have a lot of knowledge about Kelly. I don't think anybody does, because he hasn't really been in the political arena that much. But I do have some knowledge in principle of how people become successful in the military. What does the military do? What is it in essence? What kind of organization is it? The military and its rules of today, which is follow orders, don't reason, don't argue, don't debate, follow orders. In peacetime, or in war, which doesn't make any sense at all, because in peacetime there's plenty of time to debate and discuss the correctness of any policy or decision. But no, this is an organization that is based on principles that were created during hundreds of years ago, during the time when the world was ruled by only tyrants. And they were predatory in nature, and they had their militaries, and they had people in virtual slavery almost in their militaries. Some of them were being paid, others weren't, but these were people that were totally abused, and the ideology that created this authoritarian and backward mentality of following orders, not reasoning, that's horrible for the mind. And our military, in case you weren't aware of, does a lot of political indoctrination. And these poor people are angry at people like myself who try to protect them and not send them to wars that are going to expose their life unnecessarily. Instead of thanking me, some of them write me hate mail. So people, although secretly, candidates like Ron Paul got a lot more economic support from the military, but nobody talked about it. And I guess there are a lot of people in the military that realize that the people that don't want military intervention all around the world, the people that don't want the U.S. to be a world policeman, are protecting them. And the military indoctrinates them to believing that, they're benefited by more wars. They aren't. I mean, it's standing things on their head. So I just think that that kind of mentality doesn't produce a great thinker or great leader. Now, how do you get ahead in the military today? That's another interesting thing. Well, you got to know how to, backstab and do politicking, and all these generals that rise, they're not deep thinkers. They aren't. I haven't seen one yet. I have seen Kelly. He's not, as far as I can tell, not a deep thinker. So he's definitely not a political type. So that's not going to work out very well for Trump, I don't think. And if he controls the gates, like he says, and I don't think that will happen, because I don't think the president's family is going to be excluded, the political people that can give good political advice on how to enact laws and enact Trump's policies will be barred and screened. It's not going to work out well. So that's my analysis of the recent decisions, and I'd like to hear from you all. Let me know what you all think, and send me your comments. Bye.